Creative Kill Live!
Welcome to the show where the lights go dim. Albuquerque nights, yeah, it all begins. From the Duke City streets to the ledges we ride. Everybody gets killed on Creative Kill Live. John Roberts on the mic, that's the host and creator. Wolf, Ben, and Dizzy and a squad, no debaters. Happy Anderson in the house, serial killer on the stream. Guests sit down, but they step into a dream. Brooke Smith from the silence, ghosts in the air. Talking Bigfoot stories like they're right over there. True crime echoes while the crowd's alive. Then the lights cut out, it's the end of the ride. Welcome to the show where the lights go dim. Albuquerque nights, yeah, it all begins. From the Duke City streets to the ledges we ride. Everybody gets killed on Creative Kill Live.
What's up, everybody? It's John
and Ben.
What's up, guys? This is John and Ben here with Creative Kill Live. Today, guys, we are super excited. This is the last episode of the year before we do our recap episode,
Yeah,
Ben.
man.
Yeah, you see, I've got my Terrifier shirt on today,
True
so
fan.
you know who it is.
Yeah.
Phil Falcone, guys. We've already interviewed him. This is kind of the setup for the interview, but it's Phil Falcone from the. He is the executive producer. He was he's an actor in it. He's also one of the special effects artists, dude. I guess you would say he does a lot of the practical visual special effects for Terrifier.
Yeah, he's a Renaissance man. I mean, this guy's all over the place.
Dude,
Like,
he's all over the place. It's great.
crazy.
And you didn't get a chance because I know, me and Wolf. Sorry, I'm moving our little skull here, guys, back in the frame a little bit. But, me and Wolf love Terrifier.
Yep.
And we just introduced that to you, and you are now kind of a Terrifier fan, aren't you?
Traditionally, we all kind of know, guys, right? I'm kind of the sci-fi horror nerd there with muscles. But
Right.
now,
Nerd with muscle.
because of you guys, you and Wolf, I've actually got into slashers a little bit, and Terrifier being the number one. It's just awesome to see where it's all kind of like, for the grassroots where it started to where it's at now. It's awesome.
Yeah, and I got to tell you, it was kind of weird. So we had this audio issue. We recorded this segment a couple days ago, and then we had to come back in because their audio got messed up. But between now and then, they've already announced that I guess that Terrifier 4 is happening.
Cool.
It's going to happen October 2026.
Okay.
So we're super excited about that. Maybe we'll get to talk to Phil again.
Right.
But Phil, thank you so much for coming on the show, guys. And real quick, let us plug our sponsors for this show. Our sponsors for this show is going to be the wonderful Duke City Toys.
Thank you, Leo.
Thank you, Leo, with Duke City Toys and Crown Jewels and Coin. Yes, thank you, Rona, over at Crown Jewels and Coin. And our final sponsor is going to be New Games Plus. So thank you, New Games Plus. We want to appreciate you too. So all of that stuff, guys, if you come to Albuquerque, they're great businesses. Duke City Toys Collectibles, Crown Jewels and Coin is jewelry, and then New Games Plus is a gaming center where you can go and play all the video games you want to.
Fun.
Yeah, dude, he's had some pretty cool events. I guess I want to go check one out, so it's pretty sweet. Anyway. Long story short, guys, we're going to do this. So everybody, this is the interview with Phil Falcone. Stay tuned. Take care, Creative Kill fam. We love you guys.
Love you.
What's up, everybody? This is John.
This is Wolf with Creative Kill Live.
And today we are so excited to have on producer, actor, all the things Terrifier, Phil Falcone. How you doing today, Phil?
I'm doing good. Good to be here.
Well, we are so excited to have you on. Phil, I got to tell you right now, we're kind of geeking out a little bit because finally meeting you, I've messaged you a bunch. You've wished you a happy birthday. I actually just saw a poster about your dad. Happy birthday to your dad. That was so sweet. But we just love the Terrifier franchise, man. Him and I have seen both of we didn't see one together because but we saw 2 and 3 together.
Yeah, we went to the theater to see 2 and 3, but I just love Terrifier. I think it's revived like the horror slasher character genre, and it brought something fresh to like the whole horror scene. So it's been really refreshing.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
But that wasn't just to set the record straight so nobody gets crazy. That wasn't a post on my father's birthday.
Was it?
I
thought
no. It was.
Okay.
This is
We'll
the
cut
day
that
he
out.
passed 24 years ago.
Oh, I
But-
thought that was for your father's birthday. Okay.
No, but it was still very sweet. Thank you.
Yeah, I just
My
I
dad
hear you,
was-
man. It's
That's
tough,
okay.
but yeah, it's all good. So Phil, let's go ahead and get started with what we do here at Creative Kill, we're kind of like a satirical horror theme show. We're really big here in the Southwest, in New Mexico, Arizona, Colorado, Texas. And I know I'm going to mention a name to you first because I know who you know she is. Do you know Carrie McGuire?
Yes.
Yeah, good old Carrie's a friend of ours too.
Oh, so, very cool. She's Art the Clown Appreciation. She has a lot to do with that.
I know. I believe I belong to that. So it's cool. Yeah. She's been so supportive of our show also. And then when we helped sponsor the Morgan Crypt Horror Convention here. We shot a bunch of stuff. We had the honor of meeting David, Howard Thornton, and Lauren. Cool. And they're sweethearts, both of them. I mean, just such great professional actors, and just especially David. I mean, Lauren's great too, but David is just such a good soul, man. He is.
David's a character, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's he is.
Sure.
Yeah,
you have a good time with David, that's for sure.
That's great. That's great. Well, the way we start off all of our interviews is we ask our guests about themselves a little bit. So, can you tell us, Phil? Tell us all about Phil Falcone and kind of how you got started in this business.
Well, that's wild. It's a story I've told a few times now. I was on Wall Street for 30 years, but I always wanted to be an actor. And I had gotten sick in 2008, and I was pretty much close to bedridden. I wouldn't leave my house. I was just a mess. And my doctor Hariso speaking to me and trying to get me back on top of things. And he kept bringing up, like, what were you into? What did you like to do? And I used to be into sports heavily, but I had no desire. And I said, the only thing I do now is I watch TV. I like TV. He goes, well, why don't you do something with that? And it piqued my interest again. And I started writing scripts. The first script I wrote was about Wall Street. And I'll tell you, I would need probably about 150 million to make that movie.
That's like
I had no idea how to write. I was writing. I had fucking trains flying off the track. I had all kinds of things going on. Shit. And I had the exchange, which is massive. So, I mean, it would have been a cast of millions. So after I wrote that and I looked at it and I said, God damn, that's a lot. I started writing something that I was getting into. I loved war movies, and I was writing a war movie, and a friend of mine came over, John DeMeo, and he goes, I'm writing something too. He goes, could you look at it? He liked the way I was writing, and I looked at it. He wanted to do a short, and it was about PTSD. Mm-hmm. And at that time, I was going through something with my son with issues with drugs and everything. And the more I talked to veterans, the more I realized it was very much the same. And I got very attached to it. And I wrote what I was feeling. And I wrote a movie titled Joe's War. Mm-hmm. And when I was done, I said, I don't give a shit, I'm making it. And I had never done anything with films. So when I decided I was going to make it, I reached out to a couple of people and my partner John reached out to a couple of people, and we were doing things, and I finally made shit happen. And we got Armand Asante, Ed Asner, and Tom Sizemore.
Tom Sizemore.
Joe Lisi, yeah.
Armand Asante, yeah, that's great.
Yeah, so
to work with at the time.
Yeah, it was awesome. And then when we were doing it, I said, we need some blood and guts. And I turned to my partner. I said, we need somebody that does effects. And he said, I just did a short with this young kid, Damian Leone. And my DP, Tom Agnello, said the same thing. So I said, let's get him on the phone. Let's see if we could make something happen. I called him up, talked to him. Very, very quick conversation. Very nice kid. I said, listen, I don't have a lot of money left. I said, but I want to do some effects. What could you do? He goes, I could do it, whatever you want. I didn't know how good he was. I would have got a little more into it. But
yeah.
So he came down to the set, and we filmed a couple of effect scenes, nothing major, but I was getting into it and everything. And he was talking about this clown movie. I said, I'm not into horror films, I'll be honest with you. So I let it go at that. But evidently he had been talking to my son. And my son kept saying, why don't you see some? I said, I'm not into horror films. And I was going to make this an action movie which I still want to do, called Paintball. And I said, listen, I'm going to reach out to a couple of guys I used to work and see if I could raise money to do this movie I want to do. Why don't you just tell me what you're trying to do? If they'd rather do a horror film, I'll let them do the horror film, and I'll see if I can get involved. And he sent me what he's looking for. I said, wait, that's all you're looking for? He wanted $30,000. I said, I just spent $250,000. I said, what are you kidding me? So I said, I'll tell you what, I'll give you the money. We'll go partners. We'll do this. I said, but you got to teach me special effects. And he said, okay, no problem. I found out later he thought I was full of shit. I said, let me know when you got a bank account and I'll send you the check. He goes, I got one. So I gave him the check. So shit. Okay, this is happening. Then, it ended up costing us about, I think it was $45,000 or $47,000 total for the whole movie.
Wow.
All in, yeah. And a couple of my friends, they were like, I want to get involved. And I said, listen, I got, I'm about to put up another like 15,000. I said, if you just want to put up 2,500 each, I'll let you in. And they jumped on board and they got a piece of it. And I was like, oh, that's cool. It's fun. It's fun to have friends involved. And so that was how we started. Then I would say everything started to align.
I would feel like it, yeah.
Yeah, I was about to start making a movie, and now I have somebody that's actually made movies before. I only made one. That was my college experience, basically. Joe's what didn't know anything about films. Didn't even know what actually a director or a producer did. Still don't really. I just do what I do.
I'm in that ballpark with you too.
Yeah. Damien keeps telling me, he goes, you don't need a fucking title. He goes, you do everything, so don't worry about it.
Right. Utility, baby.
Yeah, and I like to do things. I like working with my hands and everything. So, like I said, everything started to fall into place. As we're about to start, I have a house in Staten Island, and the tenant moved out. My wife calls me. She goes, we got to rent a house in Staten. I said, wait, hold on. Don't rent nothing. I said, now we have a studio to work in.
There you go.
Right.
So we built all the effects and everything in my house in Staten Island. That was for Terrifier, the first Terrifier. We built everything in there. That's where me and Damien really bonded. We bonded for over 3 months building shit. And we had a couple of little things that I actually wrote down in the things. The things in the back. We'll get to that later. But so me and Damien bonded there mostly. And then when Terrifier 2 came, the house was rented in Staten Island, and I told my wife, we're going to build everything here. I have a big basement. The drawback was my daughter's afraid of clowns.
Oh shit.
So the first thing we did was made Art's head, put it on the shelf. So every time she had to come down the steps, she got to see that. It's Daddy of the Year, I guess. But that's when Damien, I, and my entire family really bonded. Because he basically lived in my house for over 6 months building stuff. It's probably the best I've done effects-wise. I had learned a lot on 1. On 2, I was able to help more than ever. The animatronic and everything. He says, Phil, can you make this happen? Can you make this happen? I said, I don't fucking know. I never did this shit. We made it happen. And I like to think that me and Damien push one another to a certain degree to make each other better. I'd like to feel that way anyway. He's probably saying, get the fuck out of here. But, we try. Like, I'm more of a closest good guy. And he's more of a, no, that's not good enough guy. Yeah, I think it works.
That's like the quality control guy.
It's like kind of like us
to catch the typos. You know what I mean? But I was gonna say, I think it's just so cool, like that you guys made that movie on such a small budget, because it's encouraging and shows like with some creativity and hard work, like what you can make like off really peanuts. Like it's amazing that was that budget was so small and such a great film with so much great effects, I
appreciate that. Thank you. We had a very small crew the first time around. I think we had 6 people. George, the DP, I couldn't even remember the other names. Me, Damien, that was the nucleus.
Yeah.
It was the three of us. Matter of fact, funny story with George. We had this kid on the set, and the first day of shooting, I said, Damien, we got to fire him. So he goes, I'll talk to George. So George talks to Damien. Damien comes back to me, goes, George said he's irreplaceable. So I said, fuck it, fire George too. He goes, what? I said, fire George too. We'll get another crew here within a week. I said, but nobody's irreplaceable. I'm not irreplaceable. He's not irreplaceable. You're not irreplaceable.
It's true.
Everything could be replaced. But thank God.
Why are you looking at me like that?
Thank God. Thank
I
God.
wrote that film with you, dude.
Like that. I'm just saying, because we've dealt with replacing
I know.
too.
We've had to replace a couple, some bad
Yeah,
eggs.
we never fired him though, but
No,
we watched him a lot more. George took on extra duties.
just work them harder.
Well, that's great. I love that. I love how you talked about how you and Damien, your chemistry, you built your chemistry together, because I think that's really important, especially with a producer and a director. And so I'm going to go ahead and get to our first segment, guys, because we kind of went off, but I love it.
Mhm.
I love that and all that stuff there. Okay, so Phil, we open up Creative Kill just kind of by breaking the ice. We ask all of our guests the final 3 questions. So my first question to you, Phil, is, because I really want to know, and I told you you're not allowed to say Terrifier. What is your favorite horror movie? Whoa.
What happened?
Nothing. We're good.
Okay. Well, this is one I get a lot of pushback on every time I say it. Jamie goes, you can't say that.
Uh-huh.
I'm not a huge horror fan.
Yeah.
But in my defense, I don't consider a lot of the films that are considered horror films.
Same.
Like, to me, Omen wasn't a horror film.
Right.
Exorcist wasn't a horror film. I don't know why. I don't believe it's a horror film. I never thought Jaws was a horror film, and I love Jaws. It's one of Damien's favorites. I wouldn't say it's my favorite.
It is my favorite.
It's one of my favorite films. I have a ton of films I really love, so I don't like to say a favorite, because there's I have a top 9,000 films depending on the mood that I'm in. You yell out an era or a genre, because I was big on westerns and war movies growing up. Horror films was not my thing, except for like Frankenstein, Dracula, the Wolfman, things like that. I loved comedies. But I would say Jaws is on the top as far as what's considered a horror film. And I know, I think I'm, you know what, I'm going to let you do your questions, because I was about to answer your third one, I think.
Well, then, what I've got on your notes is The Thing. Obviously, that's one of our
The Thing, yes. See, I skipped over that. Thing is one of my favorites.
I don't think The Thing is really a horror. I mean, it is.
Neither do I.
I call it a science fiction
It's
film.
horror
Same
sci-fi.
thing.
Yeah.
It is.
I
It's
call
along
it-
the lines of Alien, you know?
Right. And I don't consider Alien a horror film.
Yeah.
I consider it a sci-fi movie. That's what I consider.
Yeah,
But that being said, if it's a horror, I'm in.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Do you want to ask the second question?
Yeah. So, what is your favorite horror villain or creature?
Well, yeah, I answered that as the shark.
Yeah.
Because,
Yeah.
truthfully, I honestly think my favorite horror villain would be Frankenstein.
Frankenstein.
I was a big Frankenstein fan.
Did you see the new one?
I did not.
It's actually pretty good. I liked it. It's pretty good. It's a lot different than any other Frankenstein film we've ever seen.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I like different.
Well, I got through like halfway on it, and it kind of lost me a little bit.
Yeah,
but,
I liked it.
Yeah.
It's pretty. He's a good, it's Guillermo del Toro, so
Yeah.
you know what you're getting with him. It's kind of like with you guys with Terrifier. I know what I'm getting with Terrifier, right?
Yeah.
And then go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. I was going to say I'm more of a purist. Like, to me, Frankenstein is Frankenstein. The black and whites were killers.
My thing with that, I agree with you, Phil. I'm a big wolf man. I love werewolves, right? That's my thing. And the original Wolfman, I did, like, when Blumhouse, and I'm not trying to shit on anybody, but they did this new remake, and I was like, this isn't the Wolfman. This isn't our story that we had.
Right.
I know they're trying to do a new adaptation of it, but at the same time, I mean, I thought Benicio's was better, but I mean, I thought that was great because of a lot of the cool makeup and effects and stuff. But the black and white version is still my favorite.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I mean,
see, I haven't watched it in years because I'm afraid.
Yeah.
Like with comedies, I've noticed when I go back and I watch certain comedies, I'm like, why did I find this funny back then? So I worry about going back and ruining what I remember when I saw them when I was a kid. Like certain shows I don't even worry about, like a lot of the Westerns,
Yeah.
a lot of the war movies. I don't worry about it because I know, I remember them vividly and I watch them and they're the same. And I've been watching them for years. The black and white horrors has been so long since I watched them that I'm afraid to because I'm afraid it lost the quality. Not with Frankenstein, though. I still watch that.
They're still good. Like, so mine is, I was a Dracula fan. Like,
Right.
so when I was a kid, like Dracula was my man, and I was Dracula for Halloween every year from like age 5 to like 10. You have like these posterity pictures of me, like Dracula growing up, like basically. So I was into Interview with a Vampire. Like when that movie came out, I really liked that movie, and Bram Stoker's Dracula, of course. But I got love for Frankenstein too. I always thought he was a really cool character.
Yeah.
And the story behind that.
Yeah.
Okay, so the third question we ask is, what horror movie stuck rent-free or just scared the shit out of you? And I love this answer because I'm going to tell you, my mom made me watch this movie, and it freaked me out. So go ahead and say it.
Yeah, whatever happened to Baby Jane?
Yes.
Holy shit. I was young when I saw it, but I'll tell you, that thing, I couldn't watch Betty Davis in another film probably for 20 years. I couldn't watch her in anything. She creeped the shit out of me. I couldn't look at anything.
It's the intensity of it too. It's just like the way she comes off. Yes, you're right. And when I went to go see my mom and I told her about Phil's answer. I said, Mom, you won't believe we finally got an answer. And she goes, oh yeah, that screwed up everybody. She goes, everybody in that generation, Phil. My mom's 75, but she's like, everybody got screwed up by Betty Davis about that. That's awesome. Yeah, I love this one answer. I like when we get unique answers. So yeah, that's great. Thank you for answering the final 3 questions, Phil. That was awesome.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, you ready to segue into the next segment? We usually do a little story time, but we really want to get into some Terrifier stuff because a lot of our fans, our audience, I mean, it's brought up constantly. And especially when, I got to tell you, when we really saw what your franchise is doing now, when at the cons, David and Lauren are the draw.
It's crazy.
It's insane.
Yeah.
It's insane, especially when he's in wardrobe, when he's in costume. I mean, the line was around the building. And so, you've done something right when you guys have done that. So my question to you is this. What was your first reaction when you read the first Terrifier script? What was your first reaction? I mean, did you immediately sense it was going to be this? Or were you like, I don't know about this?
The first Terrifier, I said something to the effect of, you might as well have Black Leader saying, go get popcorn, go take a piss, come back in 5 minutes, there's going to be a kill. Because to me, that's how horror films are.
Yeah.
And then I got nervous when I read Terrifier 2 because I said, wow, I like this script. It's really cool. Mm-hmm. And it scared the shit out of me because we did so good with 1. And I said, I hope I'm not the kiss of death here. But I think it's progressed. I think Damien's matured even better than he was at the beginning. I think he knows how to add his humor and his villainy, I guess, creepiness. He blends it well. And I think the fans noticed that we don't pull punches. I think they know that we don't take shortcuts. We build everything from scratch, even the sets. The sets we built ourselves, and those are no small tasks. I mean, Clown Cafe got built in 3 days.
Well, that's what makes them so immersive and visceral,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we have a set designer in Olga Turka. That's amazing. We put together a crew that everybody pushes in the same direction and pulls in the same direction. egos are left at the door. That's what you need. I that's where I pride myself, I think, a lot, trying to put teams together. Every career I've had, I mean, I could go back to anybody I've worked with, and they'll come back with me anytime. I try to do the right thing by people, and I try to treat everybody equally. I owned a club in Manhattan, and I could tell you this. I was working in the basement putting it together, and one of the workers went upstairs to my maitre d' and said, "That guy down there needs a raise." And he goes, "Do you know who that is?" And she said, "Well, I know, it's a worker." So he brings it downstairs. He goes, "I want you to meet Phil. He owns the place."
Yeah.
He goes, "A lot."
But
So, if you don't have an ego, it works better, and the people realize, like, I'm shoulder to shoulder with people. I'm in the trenches with people. I don't mind getting dirty. I mean, if you see behind the scenes, you'll see me down on the floor in blood. You'll see me sweeping floors.
Right.
You'll see me building shit. So it's never an ego thing with me. I want to do the best I can. I love doing this. It's something I wanted to do my whole life, and I'm getting a chance to do it now in my later years.
Yeah. So I have a question for you, Phil. So Art the Clown has become a modern horror icon, right? Like, he's the hottest thing going right now. So as someone on the inside of the film, what do you think has like captured the audience and connected with the audience most? Would you say it's like the brutality and the gore, or the dark humor, or would you say it's the silence? Like, what do you think is the most connecting with the audience?
That's hard to say, because I think without any of those three things, you don't have Terrifier the way it is. I honestly think when you take such tragic things and you make it so bad, and then you put a little humor to it, it brings you back from the edge, and you get to laugh a little bit. And I think that helps a lot. And I think that's what the audience resonates to. The fan base has taken to this character like there's no tomorrow, and it's amazing. Without them, I mean, we're not having this conversation. We're not doing any of this.
Right.
Who knew? Terrifier, Terrifier one. It was a small little indie film. And like I said, with Joe's War, I did it, never heard of it, done.
yeah.
That's how most of these things go.
Yeah, with Terrifier, I think almost it's so intense that you need the humor and you need the breaks to kind of give you a break mentally from like what you're seeing, and it kind of resets you, and you're like, okay, oh my god, like ready for the next crazy thing, right?
Right, that's what I was saying. It brings you to the edge.
Yeah,
and just when you think you can't take anymore, you get to laugh. Think about that. You get to laugh. There's humor. When me and Damien were casting for Art the Clown, we didn't see many people, but when Dave walked in and did his little shtick that he loves to talk about, it went over well. And I don't laugh that fast. Me and Damien were cracking up, and we said, "Oh shit!" Damien looked at me and goes, "Do you think we have to even see anybody else?" I said, "It's up to you, man. This is your call." And he said, I think we're good."
Yeah. He's the perfect casting. And that's kind of like when you look at horror icons like Robert Englund, there's been a bunch of Jasons and a bunch of Michaels, but those, I kind of, and I've talked about it on our show, how the humor, like we talk about with Nightmare, I don't think anybody could ever play the art the way that David does. David is so great at it's the facial expressions for me.
Well, and it's also like he's like a mime too. You know what I mean?
Well, that's
like one of those French mimes, evil.
That's what we went for, because we even though Dave is not a mime, we put in that we wanted a mime in the casting. We wanted him. We were looking for a tall, thin mime, and Dave fit the part a lot. Listen, Dave carries this character amazing. He definitely is handling the part probably better than we could have imagined.
Yeah.
I could tell you this: Damien's good. Like, Damien has a vision of what he is expecting of the role, what he's looking for in the role. He's very descriptive. His writing is very descriptive, down to almost the look of the person. So he's that intricate.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the fans see it. I think the fans I think he's got a good feel for what the horror fans look for, want, and he delivers.
I got it, and I'm gonna touch on on what you kind of just said. But my thing with it also is the practical special effects. You guys are doing something that a lot of movies aren't doing right now, or a lot of films projects. You're going straight practical, and so. How does working on practical special effects heavy horror film differ from other productions you've been on? Have you ever worked with something that wasn't practical versus practical? I mean, I know.
No, my film career is not that extensive.
Okay.
I mean, Joe's War. I had Damien. Did. No, there's no special. There's no CGI in there. Actually, there's a little bullets.
Yeah, the bullet flashes.
Terrifier was my next experience, all practical. Terrifier 2, I think there's maybe 1% of CGI in there just to enhance certain things, maybe make something disappear. And that's why I'm very proud of the bedroom scene, the yellow bedroom scene, because that, like we were filming that, and Damien didn't like the way it was going, and he says, "Let's take a break. Let's go back to the drawing board." We went back. We redid everything. That's when he said, "Can you make this happen? Can you make this happen?" And I tried my best to get the mouth to open and close, to get the body to move. Then when we got to the set, he goes, "Yeah." He goes, "How are we going to get the body to move?" I said, "I did something in Joe's War. Let me try it." And I recreated the bed out of wood and plywood, and we dressed it just the way it was before she was on the bed, and I drilled the holes where we can move the arms and the legs slightly, and I'm behind the wall with a PVC pipe in the head, moving it up, and a fishing wire, opening her mouth on Damien's command. He's like, "All right, head," and I tilt it up slower, and I slow, and then he goes, "Okay, now open the mouth, mom," and that's what we did. And Steve Delasala is under the bed, getting full of blood, moving the arms and legs slightly.
Are you guys just like cracking up during this stuff? Like
pretty much. There's times where after we shoot, because it's all business until it's done. We have a crew. I was telling you, we had like 6 people on Terrifier. Terrifier 2, we had like 9 people, and then we had sprinkles in here and there, a couple of PAs and things. But we had a crew that just didn't quit. The Fuzz Boys, George, like I said, me, Damien, we did everything we can. Olga, everybody had many hats, and we did everything we could. We tried everything, and we made the best out of bad situations, and we loved what we did. Everybody, like I said, pushing and pulling in the same direction. That's what you need.
So Phil, was there a moment during filming when you even thought to yourself, maybe like, this might be too much, like this could be too far, but then realize that this is exactly what you needed?
There's a couple of things that I did that I'm glad Damien just brushed me off.
Yeah.
One was, I said, "Damien, there's not that much blood in the human body." He said, "Don't worry about it, people love blood." That was one. 2 was the pizzeria scene. In the pizzeria scene, he has that back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Right. That was a very long scene. I said, "Damien, you got to cut it down." He cut it down. Came back to me. I said, "Damien, you got to cut that down some more." He goes, "Phil, I'm not cutting." I said, "Cut it down some more." He cut a little bit. I said, "You cut nothing." He goes, "I'm not cutting no more." The first comment that I heard from anybody was, "That pizzeria scene when they were going back and forth was amazing." And I was like, "Motherfucker." But so, I'm glad he doesn't listen all the time. And I don't try, listen, I'll always say it, it's his baby. Creatively, I give him my opinion. Sometimes, he tells me, he goes, I ask other people, and it's always, "Yeah, it was great. It was great. It was great." Me, I show you, and you go, "That was all right, but I would do this, I would do that." And I tell him, I'll always give you, if I think it's good, it's good. But if I think it's good, if you want to change something, I'll say, if you want to change something, this is about the only thing I would change. But I'll always critique and give an option.
Yeah. Do you want to ask? He already touched on this. Why don't you ask him 6 now? Because I really like that question.
Okay. So fans often say, and me included, that Terrifier kind of has like a grindhouse throwback feel to like the old 70s, the drive-in movies, the real rough cut kind of horror, almost, you would call them B and C movies. So do you feel that like you're part of like this kind of horror revival of this new wave of this kind of horror art that's going back to the practical, back to like the roots of like horror films?
Well, sure. I wouldn't have known this before, but now that I'm working with Damien over the years, yes, I've heard that. I've seen that. Damien was weaned on that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's part of him. It's part of his thread. You know what I'm saying? His filmmaking ability. And I'll tell you, I've hung out with many film people before getting into it. Like when I had my club, I had a bunch of actors and actresses used to come in. I became very friendly with James Gandolfini and some of his friends. Yeah, dynamite guy. So I could tell you Damien is very, very knowledgeable about every genre. I'm definitely not. Mm-hmm. I'm a fan of movies. I'm a fan of things, and I look at them differently. I know what I enjoy. I couldn't tell you a director what directors I liked. I like movies. I like certain movies. I like certain looks. And there are a few that I could say, oh, I like him. I like him. Like I love the way Mel Gibson handles himself as a director and a filmmaker. His movies are very saga-like, and I enjoy that. Which is more like the action films that I like.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Damien makes me excited with the way he does things, and I watch him, and I learned from him. Joe's were a very dark movie, yet I filmed a lot of it in daylight, and that ambiance you don't have. You don't have that feel, that gritty feel, that down feel. I did it in a couple of scenes, but you when you never did it before, you don't know until it's over. And I say, oh shit, I should have did this. And I also notice he likes to fill his walls, his rooms. Everything has to have something, a meaning. And back then I was like, well, this is how people live. It's not always everything on the wall. So I did things like that. If I had to do Joe's War over again, it would be much darker. It would need much. I got the point across, but the feeling isn't there throughout the entire thing. I don't think. I'm very proud of it. And had I known more getting into it, it probably would have been better. But a drama is very hard to get across compared to other genres. Probably one of the hardest genres to do. They say comedy, but if you hit a vein with comedy, you'll be good. In a drama, it's tough to get people to go watch a drama unless you put unless you put a top A-list name in. It's tough. It really is tough.
I actually just experienced that this last summer. So I was in a film called Eddington we shot here. Ari Aster, he did Hereditary and he did Midsummer and stuff. And working with a director like him, he's very soft-spoken, but his AD is that's crazy. No, she was, but it was like, we had Joaquin Phoenix, we had Emma Stone, we had Pedro Pascal, Austin Butler. But again, what you were kind of saying, touching on that, not a whole lot of people went to theater to go see it now. You know what I mean? And because it was a drama about COVID, and at the end,
it's tough.
It's very tough. And
dramas are tough. I'll tell you, I would stay away from drama.
Yeah,
I will not do a drama anymore. Unless I was getting an A-list actor and a supporting actress or actor, I wouldn't touch it.
Well, it was like they had an all-star team on this thing I did, and I was a day player, but I'm in a lot of the film. I actually play Emma Stone's dad in the flashback scene. Yeah, and then you see my picture on the wall the whole time in their house. It's crazy.
That's cool.
I resonate where you come from, and I want to ask you, as an actor, coming from me as an actor, what is it like? What is Damien like as a director? Is he pretty smooth? Is he pretty just relaxed?
He's very good. He's very good with the actors. I mean, I don't think anybody could say a bad word about him. He doesn't lose his cool. He works with them. He lets them try things on their own. He does, like I said before, he's very in depth with what he wants, but he allows you to bring yourself into it, if you know what I mean. I tell you, I learned a lot with Damien. I really did.
He seems
I think he'll make me a better director as well. Excuse me?
I see. He seems like a pretty just chill, cool guy. I mean,
without a doubt.
The interviews and everything I've seen from him in the past, he doesn't seem like one of these overbearing directors that are like, you know.
No.
And I've worked with all of them. I've worked with every type, so I can tell you right now, it's like that's what I love about him. I love about him that he keeps his cool, and that you can tell that. Okay, you want to hit him up?
Yeah, he has me there too. So
yeah,
when I see he needs to lose his cool, I'll step in. But he's definitely an easygoing guy. Very, very easy to work with. And like I said, he knows what he wants. He knows how to get there. So there's not that stress and that strain on everybody around him. He knows what he wants. He like, even when he's talking with the lighting and DP and everything, he's like, all right, I want this, let's get this. And even if they can't get it, he goes, no, that's not what I want. Like, very calm. Like me, I'd go, the fuck, are you a light? The fucking light up there, Jesus Christ. You know, so I love it. He wants a streak here. Can't you give him a streak? Give him a fucking streak. I'll give him a streak. Get me a flashlight. No, so it's like, he's very calm. He's very collective. He takes his time. He doesn't rush. He's good. He really is good. He's the real deal.
Well, that's probably how you're going to get the best work out of the people around you too. People feel comfortable, right? Yeah. Yep. So I have a question for you, kind of more of like a behind the scenes, like something maybe fans might not know. But what's something that might have happened during filming Terrifier that fans would never guess, whether it be technical or emotional, something that might have happened that would be interesting for fans to know?
Well, one of the things that I had mentioned that I wrote was when we were doing Dave's makeup in my house in Staten Island, we had ordered pizza. And it's not a horror story, but we ordered pizza, and the delivery guy came, so we let Dave go answer the door. And the guy, and what's behind Dave is all body parts strewn all over the floor. And the guy, the young kid, he just looked and was like, oh shit. And then we said, it's makeup, we're screwing around. He just he immediately came back down.
Did he just like drop the pizzas and run?
No, he was standing there like this. Holy shit. Dave tells the story better than I could ever do it. But we talked to him. He was fine. Then we had Dave go out. There were kids in the neighborhood. They were like flipping.
Oh, wow.
But it was cool. That was one. Another one that happened was when we were filming 2 in the Fright Factory. We were shot. I mean, we have pictures of us like just melted. Yeah. And I think it was Jason Levy.
Yeah, Jason. I love those guys, by the way, on Fuzz Up the Lens. I'm actually going to interview them next year about Stream, because I love Stream also, but go ahead. Sorry. So,
yeah, I helped them a little bit on Stream, very little, and they try to say I did more than I did, but I didn't. So we were spent, and we were done, and we had a lot more to do. And I think it was Jason put on this music, and all of a sudden, it was like it was planned, like you would see in a movie. One person got up, another person got down. All of a sudden, now I'm there, fat bastard that I am, jumping around, dancing, and it got us through the night. We were done. And it just rejuvenated us, and we just plowed through, and we finished it up.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Yeah, when you said the Fuzz Boys earlier, I was like, oh, I know who he's talking about, because Fuzz on the Lens. Yeah, I talked to those guys. I DM with them a lot, and then of course when Stream came out, that was one of the first things when we had the episode. I mentioned Stream because I love, and David's in that too. It's like. I love that. Have you seen that yet?
No,
I own it. I'll let you. Yeah, it's a really really good.
Hey, don't be sharing that thing. Those guys got to make some money.
Yeah. Okay. Buy Stream then. Yeah.
Okay.
buy Stream, Wolf.
I will buy it.
I own all of them. I own all the Terrifiers and Stream. So it's awesome. Let me ask you real quick too. So Terrifier 1 happens, then you go into Terrifier 2. Obviously, the new story with Lauren's character, was it Sierra? Sierra, sorry. And like that, were you guys taking this from 2 to 3? What do you know? What drove him to do like the mythological, the sword and the wings and all that?
That's a question for Damien. He wanted to do it. It was something that we discussed that we were a little I wouldn't say nervous about. Maybe we thought about it, but eventually, if you're doing horror, you have to get there. You know, you have to go mythological. I mean, we ended one. He blew his brains out. He had to come back to life. Otherwise, it's over.
Yeah.
And you never know what's going to happen. You don't know if you're going to do any more. You don't know if it's going to take. You don't know anything. So, and if you notice, the story changes quite drastically. So, and now he's on an arc that he's going through.
Right.
So, I'm going to say it had to come. It's a horror. Horror has to have that. So, might as well rip the Band-Aid off type of thing.
Yeah.
But I also like that he steps outside the lines, even in the horror genre, like pistols
I love
and stuff
that
like
hero
that.
arc of her and how she became like almost this like She-Ra type character from like He-Man with the sword, like set here to like battle this evil clown. Like, you know, it was just really cool. And also that she's like a heroine too. You know, it's like another strong female hero.
Love the character. I love the character, and Lauren is amazing as Sienna. I'll tell you another little funny story was when I did Joe's War, I was filming in a doctor's office, and he told me he was going to shut the office down. But when we went to film, he started letting patients in because he was there. So I said, I can't do this. So I shot our room. I shot the waiting room in one day. And then I said, Leah, my wife, Lisa, I said, Leah, I'm going to build a fake wall by our front door, and I'm going to use my office as the doctor's office that he sits and talks in. So she goes, okay, how long is it going to be? I said, a couple of weeks. Almost a year later, I still had the wall up to the point where we still to this day don't use our front door. We come in through the back.
How does your wife like that?
Wait, it gets better.
Okay.
You would think she would say never again, and she did. You know, that'll never happen again, blah blah. When we did the scene in the water tank, they wanted like $15,000 for a water tank, and I turned to Damien. I said, "Fuck that." I said, "Do you mind if there's wood on the sides?" He goes, "What do you mean?" I said, "If it's got 4 wood columns and glass, and then a wood back." He said, "It's fine." I said, "All right, no problem." So I built it for like $1,500. I just went to town, built it. I showed him. He goes, "That's fucking great." Olga dressed it up, and because I built it on my back patio.
Oh my God!
That tank is about 1,000 pounds.
Jesus.
So it's still
huge.
there?
No. But that being said, it stayed for a year.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was on my patio for a year. My wife was going crazy. When's this getting out of here? I had the Fuzz Boys over, I had George over, I had Damien over. We bought these big rolls of bubble wrap. I put them under, and we just threw it down. We put wheels on it, and we threw it down. We pushed it down to land on the bubble wrap, the rolls of bubble wrap. And then we lifted gently, and we had it on wheels. And then we had to roll it down my walkway, and I'm on a hill. We had to roll it down my walkway and get it into a truck to bring it to its home upstate.
They just need to do a documentary about you guys doing all of this stuff.
You guys should have
Fantastic.
You should have recorded all of this behind the scenes, like the making of Terrifier.
You would have saw me get yelled at by my daughter. My daughter's very, very into it. My daughter, from not liking clowns to her body parts are all over the movie. Every time we needed a body part, I'd call her, "Lisa Marie, come on down, I need a left arm. Lisa Marie, come on down, I need a left leg." We did it all. Matter of fact, in the tank, when Lauren's in the tank, that's all her. Amazing. But the foot, when it's caught by the tentacle, that's my daughter.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We had to shoot her. We shot her foot. We filmed her. That night, I got yelled at by her. I'm about to climb into the tank, and I had just had open heart surgery, so everybody was worried about me. So I was climbing into the tank, and George goes, "I don't think that's a good idea, Phil." We were right under my daughter's window. She goes, "What's he doing?" And he goes, "He's going to climb in the tank." "No, you're not." So all right.
It sounds like she needs a cameo.
You had your cameo, you know. I loved it. I loved your cameo because once I saw you, Phil, because I knew you from social media and stuff, from Carrie's posts, you know, all the Art Decline Appreciation Society. You're all over that, right? So I told Wolf when we saw, I was like, "That's Phil, you know," because you made your acting debut basically in that, right?
Actually, I'm in all three.
Okay, I didn't know you're in the first one. Are you in the first one?
Yeah, the first one, I'm the TV executive. I got a crew cut, and I'm in a suit. Very short clip because we cut most of it. He didn't like the makeup on Victoria Hayes, so we cut the scene really, really quick. And then the second one, I'm again the TV executive, but I'm in the background, just walking in the background in the Clown Cafe in a suit again, still crew cut. And then I'm on fire because I said, "When am I going to get to do this again?" So I told the guy I want to go on fire. He goes, "Didn't you just have an operation?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "No, you can't." I said, I gotta. He goes, "You can't." I said, "If I don't go on fire, nobody goes on fire."
Right.
He goes, "You got to be able to hold your breath for like 40 seconds. I couldn't do it. So I said, I got to like 35. I said, "I can't hold it longer." He goes, "I tell you what." He goes, "I can put your arm and your back on fire. You lay on the floor. You don't move around." He goes, "Know this, if you feel the warmth, it's too late." He goes, "So you standing there, you sitting there, I got you covered. You'll be all right. Don't worry about it." He goes, "But you got to just be careful." I said, I'm good. And we shot the scene very quick, had the fire on me. So I'm in there on fire. I said, "Oh, that's awesome."
That's great.
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah,
You see me.
I also had a chance to meet Sam when she was here too, because Sam came with.
Sam's amazing.
Sam is so cool. Her and I actually, my producer Karl, he actually took some photographs of her and Lauren that he just gave to them. We didn't post them or anything, but she just the practical makeup on I guess they call the witch. You know, that thing is scary.
Oh shit! And she's a trooper, boy.
How did they come up with the idea for her?
That's Damien. I'm telling you, Damien does all this. She's like I said, she's a trooper. She's amazing. I love Sam. She had to wear makeup all over her body on 3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I actually built the trap. I built the thing that she's in the bathtub.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because we didn't want her sitting in that muck, the whole body.
Yeah,
I built a thing where she goes in almost like a mini submarine, and I put a cinch around her, and she's only in about that much.
Oh wow!
Mud and guck.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So considering like how awesome Terrifier is, and like how you start, you go to Terrifier 2, is there like kind of a pressure that you feel like on you guys? Like, do you have to like top each movie? Like, is there like, do you guys like feel pressure because the fans are like expecting this kind of certain level of just like over the top stuff, or does it just come easy for you guys?
I could say it comes easy because it's up to Damien to come up with it, but I think we both want to do better each time.
Right.
We don't want to get stale. We want everything to be fresh and new and different. You don't want to mimic somebody else. You want to do your own thing. And if it's a kill that's similar to somebody else's, we want to do it either much better or add things that we like. And again, I'm just shooting from the hip here. Anything that might be similar, we want to take into a different realm, do it differently, because everything's pretty much been done. So you try and do things different. Damien's been great with that. He's mastered altering different types of kills, and it's awesome. Do we feel pressure? Of course, you want to do better each time you make a movie. So the pressure is there to do better. Do we want to crumble under that pressure. No. So you always want to make the movie the best. You don't want to make it, oh, I just have to do this kind of a kill just because.
Right.
You want to do it where it fits, it makes sense, and it moves the story along. So, yeah, we want to do better. No, we don't want to get stale. We want to keep things fresh, and we want to do better each time. And a lot of it has to do with the fans because, like I said before, the fans have been great. I met so many people because of this, and I love it. But the first time I went to one of these cons, I said, what a bunch of fucking maniacs.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, I love these people.
They're your people.
No, it's kind of what happened with us, Phil, is we wrote a film and then we've been in and out of the strikes are what killed us. Okay. That's kind of what helped set us back. We're still going, but at the same time, we started this little show and we didn't think it was going to take off very big because in studio, we usually kill our guests at the end. So it's like, yeah, so we went to our first convention and it was like, they're all over us. They're like, oh my God, you're the guys from Creative Kill.
Yeah, people actually knew about it. We were surprised.
We were really surprised.
That's what happened with us. Yeah. I went to my first con in Arizona, first horror con, and
Days of the Dead.
I be honest with you, I don't remember.
Yeah, okay.
I just went to see what it was like, and I'm in there and I'm looking at people. And this day, Freddy Krueger was there.
Robert.
Yeah, Robert Englund was there. Jason was there. Mike Myers was there, and I think the people from Chucky.
Yeah,
I'm not 100% sure, but I'm sitting there and I'm watching all these people. And Robert Englund's line was out the door.
It always is.
Insane. Yeah, and I'm looking and people start walking in and they got shirts that they made, Terrifier, Art the Clown, and I'm like, holy shit, we hadn't been on Netflix yet. And I said, holy shit, people are starting. Wow. People already know of us. I said, that's pretty cool. And I saw a couple more people come in and I said, Damien, we got to talk. We got to go bigger for 2. If we're going to do 2, we got to go bigger. And that's what we did.
Yeah, I love 2. 2 is my favorite. I'm going to tell you that. 2 is my favorite. I love the Christmas in 3, the Christmas horror theme in 3, but 2 is my favorite.
I'll have to tell you a funny story about the first Terrifier. So I watched that back it was before COVID. I was still in the office when I first saw Terrifier. And I recommended it to a girl I work with because she likes horror movies too, right? And I'm like, oh, you got to watch Terrifier on Netflix. So she came back to the office and she was so mad at me that I had her watch it because it was too much for her. It was over the top for her. So then it became like an office prank. Like we would print out like pictures of Art the Clown and like I would like stick it in her microwave in her office. Like we were hiding pictures of Art because it just creeped her out. And so it's still to this day, like she'll send me memes here and there. Like we've been working together now for like 8 years and still once in a while, like an Art will pop up. You know what I mean?
That's cool. That's how I am. I did it with my daughter for years. Bothering her with clowns. Now don't bother her.
Yeah.
Okay, as we're kind of wrapping this section of the interview up, guys, I have just a couple of quick questions. And then number one is I've got to ask you because we just did a thing here with Sting this last weekend, Sting the wrestler. How was it working with Jericho on this on the film? Is he cool? Is Chris cool?
Very, very cool. Dynamite guy. No, it sounds crazy, but I think it's because when people, and I'm not saying Chris is amazing. I've seen him many times now. Usually, if you catch somebody on a good day and then you don't realize he's a douche, but Chris, I've met so many times and he's a dynamite guy. He's actually got on the camera talking to my grandkids. My grandson's a big wrestling fan.
Oh, my God.
Oh, it's fucking awesome. Yeah. But I'll tell you a funny story about the first time I met Chris.
Okay.
On the set. I build my sets. So I built this door for when he goes to see Vicky.
Yeah.
The first one we did, we reshot the scene because another movie came out and it was too close, even though we did it. And then they came out, we weren't ready. But I built this door and I went cheapo and I bought one of those Luan doors. When I went to put the handle on it, I said, "Where the fuck am I connecting this to?" So it was basically like spit and glue holding this doorknob on, and here's this wrestler, and he's going to come in and excitedly grab this door and pull it open. And I said, listen, Chris, first time I met him, I said, Chris, do me a favor. This door is put together with spit and glue. I said, when you grab the doorknob, grab it very gently and act like you're yanking it open, but don't really yank it open. He goes, yeah, no problem. Goes, he grabs the door, and he did what I asked, but it still wasn't enough. He goes like this, he pulls the doorknob, comes off. I go, Jesus Christ, what the fuck did I say? And I'm looking at him, and he's looking at me like, what the and I said, I'm fucking around. So that's something where he could have took me, bent me like a pretzel and all this shit, and he was like cool as hell. He goes, man, he goes, I did, I was gentle. I said, I know, I'm only breaking your balls. I said, I knew it was going to happen.
Well, you think he would be good at selling that too, right? Because that's what he's used to doing.
Yeah, well, again, there was nothing going to hold that doorknob on.
And it is incredible because the Terrifier series has, and I have to touch on this because I'm wearing the shirt right now with Rhea Ripley.
Oh, awesome.
Dude, I'm a huge Rhea Ripley fan. I've watched her since she came out on NXT many, many moons ago. She's fantastic, but like her coming out at Survivor Series with the Art the Clown mask, you know what I'm saying? It's like, and I'm not going to touch on what that is because there's all this fan theory that she's been casted in for, but I hope she has. But it's just taken such. Do you get other actors, like bigger ones now, that are calling you guys saying, "Hey, we want to be in this franchise"? I mean, I'm surprised that you don't.
We've gotten some calls from people. Like I said, Damien, he'll always say, you got to talk to Phil. And I always say, I don't control the cat, but we do send it through casting. So it has to go through casting, but we're not ready for 4. So we have people call him, and he does send them to me, and I do say, can't do it yet, not ready yet. So nobody's been cast for 4 yet. Yeah. Of course, you got your mainstays.
Shit. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, so and at this point in time, because we're not ready to shoot, we're not in pre-production or anything. Yeah. So it's all premature. So and Damien's a lot like me in this aspect. If somebody doesn't fit a part, they're not going to get a part.
There you go. 100%. That's the way that's
doesn't matter who it is.
Yeah. Do you have any other follow-up questions at the end?
Well, so without spoilers, what can the fans expect from the future of Terrifier that might surprise them?
Yeah. He's like, I can't say
there's nothing to say on this other than we're going to do our best.
Shoot our shot, Phil.
Yeah, of course, I get it. Everybody wants it. I will say this: we're going to do our best to bring our best and to make everybody happy. Damien has mentioned that this is going to be amazing, and I don't doubt him in the least. So I think we're going to up our game. We're going to definitely try. We don't want to disappoint the fans. We will not sell out. Terrifier 4 should be the closing of an arc, I would call it. Mm-hmm. That's my opinion on it. That doesn't mean that's set in stone either, because like I said, Damien is the creator. So even if the arc ends, all that means is, will there be a new storyline? Will there be a new arc? Which everything is possible, but you also don't want to saturate the industry with it. You want to leave it, let people breathe it in.
Yeah.
Enjoy it. Like everybody was going, are you going to be out in 26? Are you going to be out in 25? I'm like, let's make sure we make the good film.
Right.
The better film. And we'll get it out when we can. Terrifier 3 was a bitch. We had deadlines that could choke a horse. It was so stressful. I had to go to the bat, I'd say at least 10 times to push the dates back. We thank God for Jason Milstein. He saved us in post-production. Jason was still fixing audio, I think 2 days before we released.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So I think it was audio that he was working on, or getting the DCPs done. But it was tough, and we don't want to do that again. It was very stressful for me and Damien.
Well, I got to tell you, you guys did a fantastic job on the whole franchise. We're huge fans. Phil, we want to thank you for talking all to. I could sit here and talk to you for 2 hours about this, to be honest with you. I know you're such a great guy, man, and I just want to. I'm going to touch on something really quick, and this is something from me personally before we jump into the next segment. But I want to tell Damien, both of you guys, thank you. Because you guys have given light to independent filmmakers. You gave us some hope, man. You really have.
Thank you.
I understand that there was crowdfunding behind some of it, and that's what a lot of people are having to do now. Because, unless you have IP, they're not taking new stories, or you have to find private equity or find private funding, as we had to do for our project. But I just want to tell you, you guys have given hope to young independent filmmakers. I talked to so many of them. Every single one of them we've interviewed. I mean, we just had Joe Lamb on, the guy from The Fetus. Lauren's in this movie called The Fetus, and I interviewed him. And what we try to do on Creative Kill, my first segment on our Instagram is always this. If you have an independent horror film and you want to promote it and you don't know how to, I was in sales and marketing my whole life, right? Call us. I don't charge anything. I tell them my tips, my secrets, just to help other filmmakers, because it's like what you said, Phil. You knew nothing going in. You were drinking from a fire hose. We're doing the same thing, but you guys, I reference it all the time. Do I not, Wolf? It's just like, I'm like, look at what these guys are doing. Look at what the guys of the Fuzz Boys, that you call them, Fuzz on the Lens guys. I said, those are the models that we need to take moving forward, because all of this repetitive stuff, and I'm not going to sit here and shit on franchises that go up to 7 and 8 and 9, but every time I talk to audiences at the cons or online or whatever, they want the new stuff. They want something new. They want new and original, fresh ideas. And I think that's where you guys came in. You guys came in, and it just was like a bomb went off. This new independent horror bomb went off. And then it just was the snowball effect, where we kept on seeing great independent horror movies come out, and they're killing the other ones in the box office,
Right.
So I just want to thank you, man. Thank you for giving the light, and for doing stuff like this with Phil. Like, we're wanting to be on the same plane as you guys down here in the Southwest. We want to help as many people out as we can. We want to cast people that are really kind of not unknowns, but just really, really good, talented actors that don't get these opportunities. And you guys did it. I want to tell you 100%. Congratulations. Thank you. And thank you for bringing Terrifier to us.
And I also just want to say, keep up with the practical effects. I was born in 80. I grew up on 80s movies. And the fact that it's practical effects, that is really what makes Terrifier so special, too, because I don't care about CGI anymore. You know what I mean? I've seen CGI for years, and to me, it's boring. It's the practical effects. It's the art and the skill and the time that goes into that movie, and you can see that care and that love. That's what makes it special for me.
I agree with you, man. I listen. That's what got me hooked.
Yeah,
practical effects.
Right. Same here. That's why I love it so much.
Well, thank you for that, Phil. Now, guys, our next segment I always like to segue into, because this is our new. This is brand new, Phil. You're the first producer, actor, anything we've offered this to. We have a sponsor, Duke City Toys, that helps us with this. We actually just did the Sting event with them, but we call it Helping with Horror. And I got to tell you, giving back is, Wolf and I, we're big philanthropists. We like to help people give back. We just ran a big GoFundMe for this young man here who has bone cancer. We put a video on every single video, and they hit their goal, dude. They hit their goal. And so we were so excited to do that, but we came up with a thing where we're going to ask our guests it's called Helping with Horror, highlight a charity, and we're going to donate. Actually, Dustin, Duke City Toys are going to donate $500 to a charity of choice. What's your charity, Phil? Can you tell us?
Yes. Now, normally, anybody that knows me knows that I donate everything I get at my signings. I donate to the New Jersey Veterans Network.
Okay.
But I have a niece, Kaylee Ross, and she has autism.
Okay.
And so I'm trying to help with that a little bit, and I don't know much about it, but they told me that they belong to they help raise money for the Grace Foundation.
Yes.
I sent you a link for that.
We got it.
Appreciate that. I don't.
Yeah, we took care of that.
Involved in that, but Kaylee Ross, darling little girl, autism, and I'm hoping we could help with that more. And I'm going to try. I'm actually I put together 3. They're having a big like fundraiser, and I put together 3 big huge boxes of merchandise, and I'm going to bring it there to auction off. So anything that can be helpful is helpful.
Definitely, we're going to post everything about that in our links. Wolf will put it in the YouTube link as well. But awesome. We will definitely take care of that for you. Leo at Duke City Toys, he's here. He's one of our big buddies. He's actually been on our show, but he decided to cut the interview. But he just wanted to tell you also thank you, because you should see his toy store, by the way. He does toys and collectibles. There's so much Terrifier shit in there. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's crazy. We were just there this weekend, and I was like, look, Wolf. I was like, Terrifier. You know, it's
well. Tell him I'm also a huge collector.
Okay.
I shouldn't say huge, but I am a collector. Okay. I collect GI Joes.
Okay.
The 64 GI Joes.
Oh, you did the big one.
Yeah, the Johnny Wests.
Yeah.
The Captain Actions. Yeah, I got all that stuff.
He's got all that stuff in his store too. He actually, I don't want to ruin this for him, but he's got a new location that's giant that we're working on. I'm working on some stuff for him to building a studio in there actually for podcast stuff. We had talked about it this weekend, but yeah, thank you so much again. We'll definitely help out the Grace Foundation.
Awesome.
You're our pilot on this, man. You're our first donation with Leo for the first of the 2026 for the new year. So we hope you guys enjoy. And we just want to, a lot of people look at horror and they're always like, oh my God, it's so terrible, it's so bad, and all this. No, I told people, I was like, well, we'll make something good out of it. You know what I mean? Let's continue this, because we're one of the biggest genres in film, and it's one of the biggest money makers for sure.
It's a money maker. Yeah. I listen. I wouldn't have known. When I used to go to these conventions and people would say, "Can I have your autograph?" I'd sign, and I'm watching all these people charge. It's not bad, that's what you're there for. You're going to charge money for an autograph, and at that point, I was just flying myself out there, doing all this stuff, and just going to be with the guys. And I was always donating to the veterans. And I said, well, let's make this a good thing. And what I do is I don't charge for photos. I don't charge for any of that. I don't $30 autograph. Everything I make goes right to the veterans.
That's fantastic.
That's nice.
And it's cool. And it's like something good came of it.
Yeah. Correct. And that's what I want. That's all we want, is something good to come out of what we did. Well, Phil, to everybody, this is Phil Falcone. We want to thank you so much, Phil, for joining us today. This is one of my favorite interviews of the whole first year. Sure. I mean, seriously, I've been geeking out trying to get a hold of you. We've had so many ups and downs, as any other production company does. But you, like I said, you gave us the ray of hope. We love you, man. Thank you so much. Keep up the good work. Tell Damien, tell the whole cast and crew, they got our support from New Mexico, because we love you.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. It was an honor being here. Thank you.
All right. And Phil, we have one last thing we have to tell you. We do this with all of our guests. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Phil, you're one of the lucky ones.
I survived.
Take care.
You survived.
Yeah, you survived.
For now.